everyone. We've come to Canary Wharf in London today to interview an entrepreneur, a businessman and a CEO who is best known for, I would say, his uber confident self in The Apprentice this year. It's the one and only Z. So hey Z, how are you doing?
Very well, thank you. How are you doing?
I'm good, thanks.
Nice to meet you.
And nice to meet you.
Thank you for coming all the way from Leicester today.
Yeah, it's nice. I actually love how you've actually invited us down here, and the view is amazing.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah. So, how has it been for you since, entering The Apprentice?
It was great. It was a fun experience. It's one of the experiences in life that you can't really, it's something money can't buy. Really enjoyed it. It's been a great journey, and I think the best way to describe it is fun.
So what impact has it had for you, as a businessman, from entering The Apprentice, till now?
I don't think in terms of business it hasn't had a... Well, sorry, no, I'll rephrase that. It has had an effect. It opens doors. It's like any other opportunity, it's what you make of it. If somebody thinks that maybe going on The Apprentice and overnight, your life changes, it becomes something else. It's not really that. It's what you make of it. It opens doors. It makes you recognisable. People know you, and it's just what you make of it from there.
So, how was it on Twitter? Because I know a lot of people watching this, young people especially, they're going to probably think, did it boost your Twitter followers?
Oh, definitely. I think I went from like 500 to about 10,000, so it definitely boosted my Twitter followers. Well, it is a mainstream BBC TV show, so I think, yeah.
So you are the CEO of a property investment company called One Investments at only 27. So how did you get from, I know you were a waiter before, how did you get from a waiter to a CEO?
While I was at school in sixth form, that's when I was sort of working part-time in a restaurant. And I think just generally overall in life, I think what's really distinguished me is that when I see an opportunity and I see something I want to do, I just go and do it. A lot of people, they think about things, they see opportunities and they dwell on them, shall I not? When I see something, if I know I want it, I'll go for it. It's simple as that. So I think that's the main key recipe for me so far in life, getting me to where I am.
So why did you choose property investment? Did you always want to go into that field of work, or were you exploring different things?
No, actually I think property kind of chose me in a way. I didn't really choose property, no, I mean, to be honest with you, I never really knew what I wanted to do. I went to university, I left halfway through, and my family's into property. My uncle, he's a property developer, and when I left university, I worked with him for a few months, and at the time when I left university, the Dubai property market was doing very well, and I only worked with my uncle for a few months. I worked for him about 6 months.
Yeah.
Because when you're working with family, it can be difficult because they still treat you like a child. So I couldn't send out an email without him having to approve it 4 times. And me, somebody who wants to sort of run before I could even walk, that was too much for me. So I only stayed with him 6 months. It was a great opportunity, and it was really good working with my family. And I learned quite a lot, and they were really, really good to me. Obviously being family, but I very quickly sort of moved on from there, and the Dubai property market was booming, so I thought I had quite a lot of friends who were doing well over there, and I quickly jumped onto that one. So in a way, property chose me. I didn't really choose property. It was just what was good at the time.
So you thought you would just take advantage of the opportunity?
Exactly. I just thought, that's where it is right now. Let's go for it. I've always been a good salesman, so it was sort of within properties. I mean, within any industry, sales is a huge part of it. And so I just sort of married my skills within sales within the property industry. And 8 years ago I started. And I was just thinking about it the other day that, I feel like I'm 18. But I've actually been in my industry for 8 years now, which is quite a long time.
It's nearly a decade.
It's nearly a decade, exactly. It's nearly a decade in this industry. So when I started, I never thought I'd be in it for so long. I think only just now I've actually realised, well, I am actually a property man. That is me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how does it feel to be, so successful being so young?
There's a lot more I want to achieve. I'm just getting started right now. I'm young. I've been having a good time so far in life. And now, over the next few years, starting from now. I think over the last few months, I've really started to knuckle down and make some moves. So it's just the beginning of the journey.
So, so far, from what people have seen of you, you know, on The Apprentice, on the internet and stuff, I don't think we've really had, you know, a good background kind of thing of you. So what was your background like? How was it for you growing up? And do you think, you know, the things that you've experienced, you know, in your younger years has kind of really, you know, boosted your confidence, boosted, you know, what you need to do basically to be a successful businessman?
I think everyone's upbringing has a huge influence on who they are, definitely. I've had a very unique upbringing, actually. I was born in the UK, and I was here until I was about 7 years old. And when I was 7, my parents moved to Pakistan. So obviously I moved there as well, and I grew up over there. I came back here when I was 16 for sixth form. That's when I was a part-time waiter.
Yeah.
And then after a year of sixth form, I actually moved back to Pakistan again. I did my A-levels there, and then came back here for university. So I've sort of, overall in my life, I've you know, lived in different countries. So I think that's had a huge influence on my upbringing. I understand the culture of you know, Britain very well, and I also understand the culture of Pakistan very well growing up there. Obviously, I'm bilingual as well. And it's been a great experience, and it was very unique for me because my family, they're you know, I mean, in our family, everyone's very, very success orientated,
yeah.
Whether they be in business or whether they be professional. So failure was never really an option. Since we were very, very young, it was a thing that, you know, you've got to be the best at school, you've got to be the best at this, and, you know, you've got to be the best at everything you do. But I was never really, well, I was an academic when I was young, but I think that cause I was actually, well, I was really quite a good academic while I was younger. But when I moved to Pakistan, it was quite a transition, and the education system being different, I think that affected my academic side, and I was quite a rebel. So from the age of sort of like, you know, adolescence, 12 years old, up to about probably 18, 19, I was quite the crazy one. That's why my parents actually, my parents, they're quite sort of well established in Pakistan. They're, you know, over there, and if you're from a certain sect within society, as in terms of your how do I phrase this? If you know, sort of, my dad's the vice president of a bank,
okay.
And when you're at that sort of stature, then you've got a certain lifestyle. You can do whatever you want in a way.
And you've got a lot to live up to as well.
Oh, of course. But so I sort of, my dad's a self-made man. My mother's a self-made woman. They're self-made people. My dad grew up in a village in Pakistan, and now he's the vice president of one of the biggest banks over there. And you know, for them to see like me being a spoiled child, we had cars, drivers. If you've got money over there, police doesn't make a difference, law doesn't make a difference. You do whatever you want, literally. And for them to see me going down that path, you know, all my friends were like, you know, politicians' children and that kind of thing. It really like sort of quite concerned them. That's why when I was 16, they moved me back over here. But I'm one of those people. They thought that bringing me back over here, I'll get like, you know, I'll, you know, sort of calm myself down, and I want to come run back home. But I was the opposite. I came here, they weren't giving me any money, so I got a part-time job. So all of a sudden this spoiled kid from over there who's used to like having, like I had we all, you know, got huge staff in the house, everything's done for you. I'm there, got a job, you know, and got on with life. So
you had to learn how to graft?
Yes, I did have to learn how to graft, but it was in me, you know, I was ready for that. For me, like, there's like, you know, I don't have that. One thing that I've had from a young age is that I don't have that sense of, you know, I need to have a comfort zone, I need to have this, I'll go and do anything. That's why, like, you know, within my career, like I said in the beginning of the interview, that one thing that distinguishes me is when I see an opportunity, I go and do it. I've moved all over the world. I've lived in, obviously, Pakistan and the UK, what I just told you, but I've also lived in Spain, you know, and there's various other countries that I've travelled to and done business, and I've just picked up and gone when I've seen an opportunity. So for me, there's that comfort zone thing. I don't really have one. I just do my thing.
So let's talk about, you know, your time on The Apprentice. I think you were the 5th person to go. How was the whole experience?
It was a fantastic experience. You know, some great people on the show. that show is one of the largest productions in terms of reality television. There's about a couple of hundred people behind the scenes on a day-to-day basis making it happen. And when you're a part of that, it's significant, and it's an amazing experience.
So I must ask, when it was your task, the Dubai task, what do you think, in your opinion, went wrong?
I think a couple of people will probably, everyone will probably expect me to say this, but I don't think the task went as wrong as people said. And even afterwards, I'll touch on the task specifically in a minute, but afterwards, Lord Sugar even did just before the final, there's a special where they talk about, Lord Sugar says why he fired everyone. And when it came to mind, he said, in hindsight, Zee's strategy in Dubai was right. And apart from his strategy being right, I just think that maybe his teammates, the other ones, felt that he was a bit arrogant, and they were happy to see him fall on his own sword. That was his justification for me going. So there wasn't any real, like, oh, he got it all wrong. Now, when you look at the task, if I could change, if I would look in hindsight, if I could do anything different, maybe I would have gone to the markets myself, because I speak the language. At the time that I was looking at it and thinking there's some bespoke items we need to get, such as the flag and the sago palm tree, and those sort of items. You had to go through the yellow pages and source the places to get it, and then use directions to get there. And I thought my knowledge on the directions getting around the city, that will help out, and the fact that, I thought that was the more difficult part of the task. Maybe I should have gone to the markets, and because the other guys, they went there, they couldn't do anything. They came back with they came back with one item from there. So I think that was probably what I could have done differently.
And how did you feel as well, when you were accused of sexism? Because personally, with me watching it, as a woman, I didn't really get that from you.
It's what happens is you've got to understand the dynamics of the show before. When you go into the final boardroom, when there's 3 people sat there, before you go in, they all sort of have a recap we all go separately. Each of us that are 3 going back in the boardroom have a sort of a quick chat with the producers. Everyone individually, one producer who's been with us all day. They highlight things and they tell you, oh, this happened, do you think it might have been this? So I think somebody might have planted in one of their heads that, do you think perhaps it's that? But I think it's a low blow. That's like me coming out with something absurd like, oh, it's racism. It's the same thing. It's weak. You're a woman in a business place. Talk about business, talk about what you did. What is this sexism rubbish? It's just, and it was, I mean, they apologized later. They said it was the heat of the moment and all the rest of it. But, it was below the belt. It was unnecessary.
So knowing what you know now and going through the whole experience, would you apply for it? Would you probably encourage anyone to apply for The Apprentice again?
I think I'd definitely encourage people to go for it. It's a great experience. I'd recommend anybody to do it. Personally, myself, I couldn't do it again, no. Because it takes about a year out of your life. Put it that way.
Really?
Yes, from the stage you apply to then when you film it, and then the gap between filming and the show coming on, then when the show comes on, you're sort of in this middle ground in life where you're just kind of waiting for the show to come on, then you're waiting for what's going to happen. So it takes a year out of your life in a way, because when it comes to business, when it comes to anything you're doing in life, be it education, you've got to be focused. You've got to be on your, in your zone. And when you're in that sort of area in the middle where you're just waiting on something to happen and what's going to happen from The Apprentice, and what are the life-changing things that are going to happen and what opportunities are going to come for it, you're kind of in that middle zone. So it's just a lot of time to take out. But I wouldn't do it again, but I would still do it in the past, if that makes sense.
Definitely. So what should we be expecting from you in the future? Because I know you said you want to go down in history.
Just at the moment, I'm just carrying on with business, and there's some exciting things that we've got in the pipeline for 2014. Are
you allowed to say anything?
I can say whatever I want. I'm the boss. No, I'm joking. I think, at the moment I'm out in Singapore next week. We've got 50 apartments in Manchester, which we've got exclusive rights over. Exclusive option on. We've got a show in Singapore next weekend, and then the weekend after we've got a show in Hong Kong. So that's what we're doing immediately, and next year we're also looking to launch our own development in London, which will be our first project where we're actually developing ourselves. So there's some big things in the pipeline.
Some exciting things.
Some exciting things. And for now, my focus is purely on business and maximising these years that I have in business. But politics interests me. A few other things interest me. Maybe in the future. Right now, I just want to conquer the business world first, and then we can take it from there.
So what advice would you give to aspiring, young businessmen and women?
I think, once again, the key thing is when you want something, go get it. If you've got a dream, if you've got an ambition, don't be scared to put yourself out there and go for it. Because everyone's always thinking, what if it doesn't go right? What if I fail? Everybody loves a trier. There's nothing wrong with trying. And secondly, one of the lessons that I've learned throughout my years in business is that the most successful people in the world aren't people who just get everything right. Yeah. They're the people who are willing to put themselves out there, fail, get things wrong, but they don't lose enthusiasm. They actually learn from their failures and they progress from there. So don't be scared of failure. Failure is a part of success. You've got to fail, you've got to trip over, pick yourself up and start running again. That's a part of life. The more you fail, the more you learn from it, the more experience you have, and the more ready you are for when your opportunity comes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Z. Just before we finish, I've got a little game for you. All right. So I just need you to say which one you'd prefer, basically. So what have we got here? Gucci or Louis Vuitton?
Louis, baby.
See, I knew you were going to say that because I saw your shoes. I was like, wow. So, getting rich or dying trying?
Dying trying? Obviously option one.
But how would you get rich, though?
What do you mean?
Because it's get rich or die trying.
Right, okay.
So, how would you get rich? But you could still die trying.
Die trying means that you've just basically tried all your life and at 80 just given up and died, hasn't it? And that's not the dream. That's not the dream, is it?
No. So BMW or Audi?
I actually drive a BMW, I drive a BMW, but my next car's an Audi, so right now BMW, I'll be loyal to BMW.
Which BMW and which Audi?
Leave that out.
All right. Apple or Samsung?
Sorry?
Apple or Samsung?
Apple? I've never really used anything Samsung apart from, I think I had a TV a few years ago. Yeah.
And the last one now, this is, it shouldn't be a hard one, I don't think. Lord Sugar or Donald Trump?
Lord Shugs.
The Shugs.
The Shugs.
The Sugars.
All the way.
Well, thank you, Z, for taking time out and letting us come down here. I've enjoyed it. You're actually a deep guy. Really? And I enjoy it. And I hope a lot of people out there can see that as well.
There's a big difference between the show and meeting someone in person in real life. A lot of people kind of watch the show and they're very, very judgmental over it. What you've got to realise is that, for example, if you're watching an episode and there's 35 minutes, when you're watching it's 35 minutes on task, there's about 300 hours of filming that's trimmed down into 35 minutes. So it's not really a good representation, not just for myself, I'm not saying it for me, I'm saying it for most of the people you watch on there, it's not really a good representation of who they actually are as people. Yes, it's a representation of what they are in their most extreme moments, but it's not really a representation of who they are as people.
Would you say it's kind of hyped up for entertainment?
Well, I think it's as close to being a business show as it can, but at the end of the day, the bottom line is it's TV and it's entertainment. Yeah. It's TV and entertainment with a business twist.
All right. Thank you, Z, so much. Thank you.
Meeting you.
So, Z, could I ask you, what do you think about UKVibe.TV and the whole concept and young people going out there and, working hard and doing things for themselves?
I think it's a great concept. You guys have got something really good here where you're inspiring the youth, and it's great because it's coming from the youth to the youth, and I think we need more of this, and I wish you guys the best of luck.
Thank you. We've been here in Canary Wharf today. I've had an amazing time with Z, and make sure you check out our success story series on UKVibe.TV.
That his target audience isn't for a specific genre or like sexuality or gender or class. Like it's top. Like there's so many topics I discussed in the film that could touch hearts of so many people. I remember I was recently at the Annanoia Film Festival.